Hello, and welcome to Astronomy Daily. I'm your host, Anna, bringing you the most fascinating developments from the cosmos right to your earbuds. Today, we've got a stellar lineup of space news to share with you. We'll explore NASA's ambitious plans for the Roman Space Telescope, check in on Amazon's Project Kuiper satellite launches, and learn about the ESA's groundbreaking Biomass satellite that's set to study Earth's forests from space. We'll also look at a potential new spaceport collaboration between China and Malaysia, and hear about astronaut Don Pettit, who recently celebrated his 70th birthday in quite the extraordinary way, returning from space. So settle in for your daily dose of astronomical wonders as we journey through today's space headlines. The NASA team behind the Nancy Grace Roman Space Telescope has just shared exciting designs for the mission's 3 core surveys. Set to launch in 2027, this revolutionary telescope represents a significant leap forward in our ability to study the cosmos. What makes Roman truly special is its unprecedented field of view, a staggering 100 times greater than that of the Hubble Space Telescope. This panoramic capability will allow scientists to capture vast regions of space in extraordinary detail, opening new frontiers in astronomical research. According to Gail Zasowski, an associate professor at the University of Utah and co-chair of the Roman Observations Time Allocation Committee, the telescope's primary mission is to answer fundamental questions about dark energy, dark matter, and planets beyond our solar system. But perhaps more importantly, it aims to equip space researchers with powerful new tools and data for scientific investigation. The 3 survey designs will account for about 75% of Roman's observations during its 5-year primary mission. The largest of these is the High-Latitude Wide Area Survey, which will reveal more than 1 billion galaxies across the lifetime of the universe. By studying the distribution and shape of these galaxies, scientists hope to better understand dark energy, the mysterious force behind our universe's accelerating expansion. The second core survey, the High-Latitude Time Domain Survey, will repeatedly observe the same region of space to track how celestial objects change over time. This will help scientists study phenomena like black hole formations, stars falling into black holes, and other variable celestial events. Unlike the outward-looking surveys, the third core project, the Galactic Bulge Time Domain Survey, will peer directly into the heart of our own Milky Way galaxy. This deep, detailed view will allow astronomers to monitor hundreds of millions of stars, including those potentially harboring habitable worlds. Julie McHenry, Roman's senior project scientist at NASA Goddard, notes that these survey designs represent the culmination of 2 years of input from over 1,000 scientists across more than 350 institutions worldwide. The mission promises to dramatically advance our understanding of the universe and deliver new insights into some of astronomy's most profound mysteries. Moving on now to a launch that has successfully happened. Amazon has officially taken a major step into the satellite internet arena with the successful launch of 27 Project Kuiper broadband spacecraft. On April 28th, a United Launch Alliance Atlas V rocket blasted off from Florida's Cape Canaveral Space Force Station at 7:01 p.m. Eastern Time, carrying these satellites toward their new home in low Earth orbit. This marks just the beginning of a massive deployment plan. Amazon will need more than 80 planned launches to fully build out the Project Kuiper mega constellation, which will eventually comprise over 3,200 satellites orbiting approximately 392 miles above Earth's surface. While impressive, this number still falls short of SpaceX's Starlink network, which already has more than 7,200 operational satellites and continues to expand rapidly. The competition between these tech giants is intensifying. In fact, SpaceX launched its own Starlink mission less than 3 hours before Amazon's launch, with another following just hours afterward. This pace highlights the aggressive expansion of the satellite internet market, with multiple companies racing to secure their position in Earth's increasingly crowded orbital highways. For Amazon, this operational milestone comes after an initial test launch last October, when 2 prototype satellites were sent into orbit to validate the company's technology. The satellites launched now represent significant improvements over those early prototypes, with enhanced performance across all systems, including phased array antennas, processors, solar arrays, propulsion systems, and optical intersatellite links. The company has also addressed concerns from the astronomical community by coating the satellites with a unique dielectric mirror film that scatters reflected sunlight, making them less visible to ground-based observers. This demonstrates Amazon's awareness of the growing concerns about satellite constellations interfering with astronomical observations. If all proceeds according to plan, the Atlas V rocket will deploy these 27 satellites at an altitude of 280 miles, after which they'll use their own propulsion systems to reach their final operational orbit. Amazon expects to begin providing initial coverage to customers later this year as the constellation takes shape. The majority of the remaining launches will be handled by ULA's Atlas V and its successor, the Vulcan Centaur rocket. Amazon has also diversified its launch partners by signing deals with Jeff Bezos's Blue Origin, SpaceX, and France-based Arianespace, ensuring multiple pathways to orbit as this ambitious project moves forward. Next up, in a significant milestone for Earth observation science, the European Space Agency has successfully launched its groundbreaking Biomass satellite, designed to revolutionize our understanding of the world's forests and their critical role in Earth's carbon cycle. The satellite lifted off aboard a Vega C rocket from Europe's spaceport in French Guiana on April 29th at 11:15 Central European Summer Time. Less than an hour after the dramatic liftoff, the satellite separated from the rocket's upper stage as planned. Mission controllers at ESA's European Space Operations Center in Germany received the crucial first signal at 12:28 KUST, confirming that Biomass is functioning properly in orbit. This signal, relayed via the Troll ground station in Antarctica, marked the beginning of the satellite's operational life. Over the coming days, controllers will focus on the launch and early orbit phase, meticulously verifying all systems and executing a series of intricate maneuvers to deploy the satellite's impressive 12-meter-wide mesh reflector, which is supported by a 7.5-meter boom. This delicate unfolding process is critical to the mission's success. What makes Biomass truly revolutionary is its P-band synthetic aperture radar, the first of its kind in space. This specialized instrument can penetrate forest canopies to measure woody biomass, the trunks, branches, and stems where most forest carbon is stored. These measurements will serve as a proxy for carbon storage, allowing scientists to track how much carbon is being stored in forests worldwide. Forests play an absolutely vital role in Earth's carbon cycle by absorbing and storing vast amounts of carbon dioxide, helping to regulate our planet's temperature. Often referred to as Earth's green lungs, forests absorb approximately 8 billion tons of carbon dioxide annually. However, deforestation and degradation, particularly in tropical regions, are releasing this stored carbon back into the atmosphere. One of the major challenges scientists and policymakers face is the current lack of accurate data on forest carbon storage and how these stocks are changing due to rising temperatures, increased atmospheric carbon dioxide, and human-driven land use changes. Biomass aims to fill this critical knowledge gap. The data collected by this mission will significantly reduce uncertainties in carbon stock and flux estimates, including those related to land use change, forest loss, and regrowth. Beyond carbon monitoring, Biomass will also enable mapping of subsurface geology in deserts, ice sheet structures, and forest floor topography, providing a multifaceted view of our planet that has never before been possible from space. Developed by a consortium of over 50 companies led by Airbus UK, the Biomass mission represents a new frontier in Earth observation technology, one that promises to enhance our understanding of forests' roles in the carbon cycle and climate system for years to come. China is exploring the establishment of its first overseas launch site with a proposed equatorial spaceport in Malaysia, a move that carries significant strategic, economic, and geopolitical implications. The China Great Wall Industry Corporation has signed a letter of intent with the Pahang State Development Corporation and Lestari Angkasa, a Malaysian private company actively involved in the country's space sector. The Malaysian state government has agreed to a one-year feasibility study for the proposed spaceport in Pahang. If approved, this ambitious project, named the Pahang International Spaceport, could be completed within the next 3 to 5 years and create more than 2,000 job opportunities, along with substantial spillover economic benefits in tourism, research, and technology sectors. What makes this location particularly valuable is its near equatorial position, situated at approximately 3 to 4 degrees north latitude. Launching rockets near the equator allows them to benefit from Earth's rotational speed, enabling heavier payloads and more efficient fuel usage. This natural advantage could significantly enhance China's launch capabilities and reduce costs. A delegation from the Malaysian organizations is expected to visit Wenchang Space City in Hainan, South China, in May to further discuss the project. China Great Wall Industry Corporation, which operates under the state-owned space contractor CASI, is the sole commercial organization authorized by the Chinese government to provide satellites, commercial launch services, and carry out international space cooperation. While the Pahang International Spaceport remains in an early tentative phase, experts note several potential benefits for China. New launch facilities could help ease a bottleneck in China's access to space, particularly in terms of launch frequency. The spaceport could provide options for commercial and civil missions, though more sensitive missions would likely remain within China's borders. For Malaysia, hosting the first spaceport in Southeast Asia would represent a significant leap forward in the country's technological capabilities and regional standing. During Chinese President Xi Jinping's recent state visit to Malaysia in mid-April, the two countries issued a joint statement recognizing the great potential for strengthening cooperation in the space sector, aiming to jointly enhance space capabilities, cultivate the space economy, promote technological progress, and safeguard national security. There are challenges to consider, including geographical issues related to airline flight paths, shipping lanes, and overflight of neighboring countries, particularly Indonesia. Regional dynamics also come into play, as Indonesia has been making its own space policy moves lately, highlighting the traditional rivalry between these Southeast Asian nations. If successful, this project would symbolize China's growing global ambitions in space, extending their launch infrastructure beyond mainland China for the first time, and potentially reshaping the regional balance of space capabilities in Southeast Asia. Finally today, a celebration with a difference. Not many people celebrate their birthday by burning a fiery arc through the atmosphere, pulling 4.4 Gs in free fall back to Earth, thudding into the ground, and emptying their stomach on the steppes of Kazakhstan. But that's exactly how NASA astronaut Don Pettit marked his 70th birthday, making him the oldest person to endure such a physically demanding return from a long-duration mission. Pettit recently completed 220 days aboard the International Space Station, adding to his impressive career total of 590 days in space, the third most all-time among NASA astronauts. Just over a week after his dramatic return, Pettit met with reporters at Johnson Space Center to share his experiences. "It's good to be back on planet Earth," he said. "As much as I love exploring space, going into the frontier, and making observations, you do reach a time when it's time to come home." Pettit, who first ventured to space at age 47, noted that while he has some creaks and groans in his body, he feels much the same as he did 20 years ago. The most challenging aspect of returning to Earth isn't the strain on major muscle groups, but rather the smaller muscles that go unused during extended periods in microgravity. "A week ago, I was on station doing really heavy squats and deadlifts. I could float around with the greatest of ease, even though I had no trapeze. I was at the peak of my game," Pettit explained. "And then you come back to Earth and it's like, I can't even get up from the floor anymore. It's humbling." Interestingly, Pettit found that microgravity actually provided relief from some of the typical aches and pains associated with aging. "I love being in space. When you're sleeping, you're just floating, and your body, all those little aches and pains heal up. You feel like you're 30 years old again and free of pain, free of everything." Having visited the space station on all 4 of his space flights, Pettit expressed strong sentiments about NASA's plans to deorbit the facility in 2030. "I'm a firm believer we don't need to dump the space station in the ocean if we don't want to," he said, comparing the potential longevity of the ISS to that of the B-52 bomber, which will have been flying for nearly a century before retirement. As for his own future in space exploration, Pettit hasn't ruled out another mission. "When the flight docs say I'm ready to go back, I'm ready to do it. John Glenn flew at age 76, and I'm only 70, so I've got a few more good years left. I could see getting another flight or 2 in before I'm ready to hang up my rocket nozzles." Pettit described what he calls the explorer's paradox. When you're in civilization, you long for wilderness. When in the wilderness, you miss your family. It's a sentiment that has likely existed for as long as humanity has had people who go off into the wilderness, and one that captures the unique calling of those who venture beyond our atmosphere. Well, that wraps up another fascinating episode of Astronomy Daily. From NASA's Roman Space Telescope with its panoramic view of space 100 times greater than Hubble, to Amazon launching the first satellites in its massive Project Kuiper internet constellation, we've explored ESA's groundbreaking Biomass satellite that will help us understand forest carbon storage like never before, and China's potential first overseas launch site in Malaysia, which could revolutionize equatorial launches. And who could forget astronaut Don Pettit celebrating his 70th birthday with perhaps the most dramatic return to Earth imaginable. Thanks so much for joining me today. I'm Anna, and if you enjoyed today's episode, I'd love for you to visit our website at astronomydaily.io, where you can catch up on all the latest space and astronomy news with our constantly updating newsfeed and listen to all our back episodes. And don't forget to subscribe to Astronomy Daily. We're available on all podcast platforms, including Apple Podcasts, Spotify, YouTube, iHeartRadio, or wherever you get your podcasts. Until next time, keep looking up and stay curious about our cosmic neighborhood.